Namo Buddhaya, Namo Dhammaya, Namo Sanghaya. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Seeing the image of the monk, seeing the image of the Buddha, we can have faith that the Buddha, the Dhamma, and the Sangha are still around. We can give our mind to the Buddha, the Dhamma, and the Sangha and give up our conceiving, our thinking, our story about today or yesterday or the possibility of tomorrow. And instead of thinking about more things, dwelling on conceptions, we can become more aware of how uncomfortable we are. How uncomfortable the body is, and how uncomfortable the mind is. Uncomfortable in that it is difficult, and that no matter how much we get involved with the body, and no matter how much we get involved with the mind, we don't feel satisfaction, we don't feel free. Not feeling free, we suffer and we worry and we think about a lot of things that don't help us or help other people. Concepts in our minds, just like the sensations that arise, come about, and pass away, are impermanent, unreliable, changing, not satisfactory. In our practice of meditation, we not only become aware of particular thoughts or particular sensations concerned with the body, but we also become aware of our preferences, our likes and dislikes, how we see certain things as being pleasant or unpleasant, or neutral. And the invitation of the Buddha is to train yourself in such a way where you are willing to experience these sensations, whether it is in your face or your buttocks or in your heart beating, or whether it is feeling dissatisfied about yourself and your life, is not as important as directly experiencing that, looking right at it, and being right with it, in a way of giving up and putting down. because the mental experiences and the material experiences that we have been involved with for so long are impermanent, we have identified ourself with something that is unreliable and unsatisfactory. And because of this, it is normal that we will feel kind of miserable and concerned about things. The Buddha teaches us that instead of trying to make the self better, or make the body better, or make the mind better, we should know about the body, and we should know about the mind through our direct experience, moment by moment, breath by breath, sensation by sensation. The more that you are open to directly experiencing what is happening right now, the more that you will understand completely that these phenomena in the body, in the mind, in the environment, and a kind of preference for things does not stay, is not fixed, is not a collection of things. But more like a moment by moment experience. This moment by moment experience is conditioned. That it is coming together according to cause and effect. It does not stand alone. When the conditions, or when you're conceiving about what you are experiencing stops, or becomes less important to you, then a state of calm and a state of relief will be the natural side effect. The more calm we are, the more concentrated we can be. And the more concentrated we can be, the more closely we can look at what is causing us to not be calm, and what is causing us as people who feel like they are individuals in a situation to stress and to worry and to be angry. Any sense of dullness should be replaced with watchfulness, so that instead of sitting there and being dull, watch. closely the subtleties of this experience. Notice every minute and fine detail, moment by moment. Not by conceiving about things or yourself, more like and looking closely. Whatever tension you are aware of that is unnecessary, instead of trying to get rid of it, just don't worry about that and don't think about that. It is not a problem if we think about nice things, just in the same way that it is not a problem if we think about bad things. We is just a way of pointing towards the general sense of experiencing that we have. But we is already just a sound, or a notion, or a temporary mental object. So instead of worrying about, thinking about good things, or thinking about bad things, try to not worry about thinking about things. And thinking about things will resolve itself without you needing to think about it more. In the same way, when we feel painful or pleasant or neutral feelings in the body, experience it. Feelings are not wrong. Sensations are not wrong. Thoughts are not wrong. Wrong is just a sound. Wrong is just like a notion or a mental object. Sometimes the painful sensations that we label as being wrong or something we should avoid are actually useful to help us be more mindful and more detached and more free from attachment to any experience or any phenomena. But we can not attach anyway to something that is impermanent. We cannot hold on to something that vanishes. And we do not need to believe in things that vanish. Notice in your experience now how things or phenomena, whether they be thoughts or experiences in your body, seem to vanish. At certain times, it may even seem like your identity vanishes. This noticing of vanishing helps us to realize how temporary experiences are. And in realizing how temporary experiences are, we may be more open to not worrying about them or relying on them so often. You may consider that the body as we know it, concerned with beautiful women or beautiful men or beautiful people, is an appearance that interests us a lot. And it develops a generous state of attachment to the body. If we are attached to other people's bodies, then we will also have a deeper sense of attachment to our own body. We may consider or realize that the appearance of the body is temporary, but also that what goes along with the appearance of the outside of the skin, soft and supple, etc., has inside of it, underneath the skin, tendons and blood and what we would call meat or muscle fibers, the central nervous system, organs, intestines, shit, piss, bones. Mucus. So this attachment to the beauty of the body is also a kind of involvement with the absolute horror of the body. The horror of a decomposing corpse, with maggots and parasites consuming the brain. This is not abnormal, this is more normal than the temporary, attractive, or beautiful form that bodies take. So the Buddha teaches us to become disenchanted with the body, not because the body is bad, but because the body is impermanent and subject to decay. And our attachment to that which is impermanent and subject to decay causes us to suffer greatly. Buddhism does not teach about good and bad. Buddhism teaches about suffering, the cause of suffering, the end of suffering, and the path to ending suffering. If we may simply understand that all formations are impermanent, that all phenomena, all experiences are impermanent, if we can understand and value this, then we can understand the mind of the Buddha. And we can understand the teaching of the Buddha. Oh, that too is impermanent. And that too is impermanent. If it is already impermanent, regardless of if it is appearing or not, then why grasp it? Why try to keep that which cannot be kept? Why try to hold that which cannot be held? Thinking is more like an impermanent phenomena, more so than it is anything else in particular. The body is also more like an impermanent phenomena, more so than it is like anything else in particular. try to use direct experiencing of the breathing, or whatever happens to be experienced now, such as sound, and completely understand it in the way of it just is like that. Practice meditation, train yourself, train in this way. Because the mind wanders so much, and because we are so attached to phenomena, we have to have a cutting implement. And the cutting implement here that you can use is focusing on your breathing instead of thinking about things that come up into your mind. And yes, it is difficult, but it is more worthwhile than it is difficult. So cut, 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 finish, 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 return, return, return to the present moment experience of breathing. And don't think about things. It's not your responsibility to think about things in meditation. The Buddha doesn't teach us to think about things. The Buddha teaches us to detach from thinking about things. And even though you may be attached to your breathing or having a difficult time with it, at least you are exercising that muscle of returning and exercising that muscle of trying to focus and trying to be in the present with it, which is worthwhile and honorable to be like that. So sometimes our meditation is not profound or particularly good, but we are being or practicing in a commendable and honorable way. And that is good. And when we try to force it a little bit, we learn about our rough edges. And we learn about how stinky and sticky our mind tends to be. And because we are concerned with and have enough blessings to be in the vicinity of the teachings of the Buddha, we don't have to worry too much about it. We don't have to be so afraid of ourselves because we are not here to rely on ourselves. We are here to rely on the Dhamma. We are here to rely on doing all kinds of good deeds with mindfulness and detachment so that the self can be not a big deal anymore. And when we practice meditation and, kind of experience how miserable the body and mind are and how miserable we are as a person, this helps us to be more free from that person that is so miserable inside of ourselves. Because when we have so much comfort and so much enjoyment, we have a wrong idea about the experience of the body and mind and the experience of being someone, that it is enjoyable or reliable or trustworthy in some way. But the body and mind are not reliable. The body and mind are not trustworthy in that they are impermanent and they are burning with greediness and desire and fear. The body and mind are on fire with hatred and frustration. And a kind of clamoring for something that's going to solve the problem, but all of those somethings perpetuate the problem, perpetuate the craving and the grasping and the stress. So in being ready to practice meditation and suffer, we will suffer much less, because we will learn what is not reliable. We will learn what is not trustworthy. We will learn what is so unsatisfactory. And then naturally, as a kind of intuition, through our direct experience, we will take our hand off of the hot stove and we will be better and feel better, and we will improve in all the ways that one can improve. mind will play and is playing so many tricks. So go back to direct experience, whether it is your breathing or just directly experiencing what's happening without conceiving about things or making up stories about things. Just come back to this direct experience. In the feeling of tension in the face, there is only the feeling of tension in the face. In the feeling of the breathing in the body, there is only the feeling of the breathing in the body. In hearing, there is only the hearing. In experiencing the body sitting in the position that it is, there is only the body sitting in the position that it is. So just experience like that. And it's not that you're really doing anything or focusing on anything in particular, but more you are just aware that it's happening like that. Oh, it's happening like that. We have to use the right amount of force or effort. So that we are applying pressure, even a lot of pressure, as much as you can, but not becoming in conflict with ourselves, not creating conflict, not creating stress. And the more stable and wholesome and equanimous that your mind becomes, the more you can apply pressure and experience pressure being applied without getting into conflict or cultivating unwholesome states of mind, stress or anger or strange thinking. All thinking is kind of strange, but some thinking is more stressful. So finding any conflict, you kind of relax a little bit. Don't be too serious, a little bit. It's always good to have metta in our wheelhouse, the weapon of metta, the Buddha's sword that he gave the monks to clear out the ghosts and the evil spirits. You know, we say, oh, you know, I'm getting stressed, I'm going crazy, and then we just, oh, may I be happy. May I be at peace with myself. May I feel really lovely. And we say it like a mantra. May I be free from fear. May my body become a rainbow. You can get creative, but just be sincere and that sense of loving kindness, loving friendliness, and you bring up that energy using your words. May I be free. So when those spirits, ghosts, demons, kind of negative states of mind that feel important, you don't just let them do what they want to do, because that's doing a disservice to them. You're a meditator, you're a practitioner. You know, you're trying to meditate. So if you allow these spirits or negative self kind of thought conglomerations to have their way, you know, that's a really bad karma for them. And we want to protect people from accruing, and beings, you know, from accruing bad karma. So we take out our sword of metta, we take out our sword of loving friendliness, and we practice it. And that energy of metta, whether you use the formula may I, or may you, or may everyone or everything be at peace, the sword has a kind of energy to it. And the evil spirit or the negative thought conglomerations, they know better. So they will go away because they feel the energy of loving friendliness. Namo Buddhaya, Namo Dhammaya, Namo Sanghaya. May all the merits that we have done till now be dedicated and shared out towards all beings. May all beings receive, rejoice in, and be blessed by our merits. May it be, may it be, may it truly be. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Anyone like to ask any questions? Can one use the Buddha's sword outside of meditation? There is no outside of meditation. That is the Buddha's sword. Okay, burning incense for filial piety, that's a good practice. Eliham, very welcome. The mind doesn't need to be still for us to practice. Just like the mind doesn't need to be still for us to do good deeds. Just like the mind doesn't need to be still for us to be generous, for us to be mindful, for us to be patient, etc. The mind does not need to be still. Okay, so we're working on generosity, virtue, renunciation, wisdom, energy, patience, truthfulness, resolution, loving kindness, and equanimity. Katerina, when do you leave?
Tomorrow after 10 a.m.
Donald will take you to, no, Donato will take you to the bus station or something?
Oh yeah, train station. Great, pick me up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's arranged. It's okay.
So we should have a pizza party tonight to celebrate your departure, right?
Don't celebrate. Cry.
Better to cry with pizza than not, right?
You only leaving two anyway, like the day after.
18, early in the morning.
So we still need to fix that for you.
Yeah. Maybe Donato can.
Donato. Bhante parte anche un giorno dopo, ma troppo tanto la mattina.
Presto.
Sì, presto la mattina. What time?
I think early in the morning. I need to check.
Lui va ancora a vedere, ma lui ti dice che testo, tanto.
Let me
Come
see.
dire?
Tanto presto.
Presto.
Alle 5.
Presto.
Ok.
Lui va a vedere.
Maybe pizza breakfast.
Pizza breakfast. Italy is.
They don't do like that. You can't get pizza until the afternoon, the evening really. That's when the shops open.
Then you have to work all night to make a pizza, dough. Ravioli, we can ravioli. Ravioli party.
So you have some to share with the group before you go tomorrow, some parting words and advices, guidances.
Yeah, I've been thinking about it a bit, whether to do or not to do. We would like to share advice when we know that it will be appreciated and followed. And if we are not sure, then we know it's like giving Dharma to someone who would not value it. So I'm happy people are quite open here for receiving some teaching, and I could hear even from one day to another, they would sometimes somebody would recollect something from what we would hear from your Dhamma talks during our meditation. Sometimes somebody would refer to something, or I would share things from time to time according to our just regular discussion. Sometimes I would say, and Buddha says about this like this, and then people would appreciate and say, oh yes, this is interesting. But also I see this is quite difficult to perceive things, because as I also noticed to them, that there is no self. It is not I who decides that now I will be understanding Dhamma, now I will be loving the teaching of Sayadaw. So, and this is really a precious, valuable gift, and we know that we shouldn't be forcing the teaching of Buddha on anyone. The person should be actually asking for a teaching.
Yeah, that's the formal way.
Yeah, formal way. But I say, since we are here in Thabarwa, this is already the place known for teaching of Buddha, for teaching of Sayadaw. This is why we usually share. So now living, unfortunately, we are still in the condition that there won't be someone to share. But you already have some fruit that you started like tasting, yeah. So you have some recordings of Sayadaw that you can choose, maybe to play during silent breakfast, but only Sayadaw speaks, you don't speak. You are silent, Sayadaw is speaking. Or maybe you choose to play when you are practicing meditation. Maybe in the morning you practice in the silence, and in the evening Bhante isn't here, you practice with Sayadaw speaking. Or maybe you do both, or maybe one day you do like this. Yeah. It's up to you, because we can't force Dhamma on anyone, but just I remind, this is a Dhamma place, and this is very, very rare. And you have have this chance, like maybe you don't realize, but you're lucky ones to have this chance. Like not specifically because it is here in Thabarwa, for anyone who has a chance to meet Dharma teaching, this is a chance. Yeah. So, yeah, this is some kind of recommendation, advice, whatever. And remember that when you practice meditation, when you practice learning to listen to Dhamma, not listening, learning to listen to Dhamma, this is like really good deed, and you're giving example, good example to others. And we have a chance here to educate like this small town in somewhere nowhere in Italy, and maybe from here in hundreds of years it will be spread all over and it will help to people. So yeah, do as you feel right to do. Just try to keep wholesome mind and to abandon unwholesome mind as much as you can. And thank you, it was a pleasure. I really like everyone.
Yeah, I would also love to thank you for being here. I really appreciate actually the teachings. I learned a lot about Buddhism. I think you were the person that I most learned from Buddhism, about practices, about also Thabarwa. I spent maybe 2 months in total, one in Myanmar, one in the north, but from you I received like more the monastic aspect, the teachings of Sayadaw. So I really appreciate it, and I would love you to stay longer.
Make me free.
But I'm happy also. This is the time we shared, and that's perfect. So,
Great, I'm happy for you, for me.
and I hope you open also for the questions I ask, to see your point of view and side laws and everything.
Great timing that put us together. Noi abbiamo condiviso anche so, noi abbiamo condiviso un po' di ultime parole per la mia partenza, sì. Un po' di consiglio della mia parte per come continuare come voi volete, ma con la consapevolezza e con la buona mente, abbandonare la mente che è cattiva, coltivare la mente che è buona, e c'è anche insegnamenti del Sayadaw per usare, voi decidete quando e come e quanto, e anche sì, praticare meditazione per voi e anche per altri che possono vedere